Let's talk about how to get an emergency business loan with same-day funding and low documentation. I'm talking about a massive business loan, okay? You probably, if you're familiar with this show, you know we ain't talking about peanuts. We're speaking about some serious money here, okay? A massive emergency business loan with same-day funding and low documentation.
One in a million, one in a million, one in a million. You know they're coming up to me, cause I'm just the kind of flower with a stinging killer beat, but the rhythm's getting higher. Go, 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 go. One in a million, one in a million, one in a million, one in a million, one in a million.
Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you were to ask me. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. In today's conversation, I want to talk to you about a massive emergency business loan with same-day funding and low documentation. Here is how you can get the loan. In other words, you're having problems, right? And things are tight. The cash is tight right now, and you need to get that paper, okay? The first thing, so here are the steps. I want you to picture this scenario because we're really methodical on this show, okay? First, you want to think about the loan amount. You need to be able to say how much you need and why you need the money. Boss, I'm talking to you. So you want an emergency business loan. Do you have a clear idea of how much you need? Don't you walk around and tell me, if I have probably between 25 and 50, I should be fine. Hey, be specific. Tell me you want 35 grand. Tell me you want 40 grand. Tell me you want 50 grand, okay? And it's important to actually justify the use of loan proceeds because that will actually establish some clarity when the lender is reviewing your loan application. Very important. So you have to be very specific about what you need the money for, right? Are you going to open a new location? You want to do repairs in the business? In other words, you have some issues in the business, in the operations of the business. You want to change locations without using your working capital? Talk to me about the reasons for the cash, because that's exactly what the lender is going to ask you. Okay. What about do you want to hire a new staff? In other words, do you need extra cash to hire extra staff? Okay. Do you want to purchase equipment or add inventory? Talk to me about that, boss. Grandpa, I'm talking to you. Grandma, I'm talking to you. Talk to me about what you're going to use the money for, because the lender is going to ask you what you need the money for. Okay. And the thing is, you can also use the money for operational needs. In other words, you need some necessary funds real quick. Okay. In some cases, people actually use a emergency business loan for debt consolidation if the interest you're paying on the existing debt is very high, is crazily high. So the first thing you need to think about is the loan amount. When I'm talking about loan amount, I'm talking about actually giving me a number, being very specific about the number that you need. So when you talk to the lender, you have a clear idea of the number you need. And the second thing is you need to justify the use of loan proceeds, what you need the money for. You have to be able to articulate, okay? No stuttering, no. You have to be very specific. I need $25,000 because I need this for this and that and that. You have to be very specific. The second thing you need to do if you want to get this kind of paper real quick is you need to explain to the lender how you are going to repay. So we are addressing here the repayment issue. See, whenever we talk about repayment, we are talking about ka-ching, 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 right? We're talking about liquidity, right? It's important to have a clear idea of where you're going to find the money to repay the loan. Because if we're this is very simple. This is why I always say, based on our research, that credit is a game. See, you are looking for an emergency business loan, which means what? That right now things are kind of tight. Right now, cash is tight at the business level. Okay. I'm the lender. Okay. I'm giving you 25 grand. How are you going to pay me? How are you going to pay me back? So you have to be able to explain to me that you are going to have the liquidity necessary to repay me. It's very important. Okay. So basically, when we talk about liquidity, we are speaking about something that tracks the financial health of your business, right? you are able to secure a loan or other funding with that, you also need to the lender will be able to benchmark your business against other companies in your industry, your rivals. Okay, so you have to explain to the lender, hey, listen, with this money, I'll be able to make this adjustment or whatever, but my cash flows are healthy. 3 months from now, I'll be chilling. 6 months from now, I'll be cool. And here is how I'm going to repay you. And you have to explain this very clearly, okay? And the thing here is that there are some elements that can help you. For example, there are what we call most liquid assets, okay? So you have accounts receivable, inventory, for example. You have a very important client who's going to pay you 60 days from now. Okay, you know that client is cool. They always pay on time, but they just have a timing issue. So that's why you're having the cash crunch. So if you can explain to the lender that you are going to get money in 60 days, that's kind of cool also. Okay, or you also have to do something what we call create projected financial data. In other words, you have to create something called a liquidity ratio, where you explain to the lender that your liquidity ratio is kind of healthy. Now, I'm not asking you to create this yourself, because you probably, if you don't have background in accounting, this could be complicated. Have someone do it for you. Okay, have a local CPA, pay that person $100 or $200. It's worth it anyway. We're speaking about an emergency business loan, a massive emergency business loan. So paying a $200 or $300 to a local CPA or an accountant to sort of prepare this for you is really important. So I'm talking about liquidity ratio, very important. Number 3, your financials. Boss, just kind of contextualize the conversation I'm having with you. I'm talking to you about a massive emergency business loan with same-day funding. Okay, when you are in that situation, don't panic. You don't have to walk around the neighborhood and just sort of feel like like a chicken without a head. No. You really want to be specific. And the first thing is loan amount. Explain how much you need and why you need it. Number 2, think about the repayment strategy. Explain to the lender very quietly how you're going to repay them. Number 3, you want to present clear, updated financial statements to the lender. Okay, financial statements. Okay, it's important. When we talk about financial statements, what are we talking about? We are speaking about balance sheet. You probably heard this words before. I've said this on this show before. So balance sheets. There are 4 primary financial statements. Okay, balance sheets, income statements, statement of cash flows, and statement of owner's equity. Okay, so financial statements are important because they show the financial health, the health of your business. Okay, and again, going back to what I said earlier, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, you want to enlist the help of someone who understands the kind of language I'm speaking right now. A CPA, a certified public accountant, or a local accountant, a senior accountant, somebody who understands the ins and outs of financial reporting and accounting. Okay, and so you want to do this. And one thing I want to specify here is that sometimes when you actually set up this kind of financials, you can have forecasted data. In other words, you are using assumptions, or you can use actual data, but your accountant will actually help you. The goal here is to convince the lender that your financials are healthy. Sometimes if your actual numbers are not healthy, what do? You just have to prepare projected financial data. I mean, everybody does it. I mean, a lot of big companies do it all the time. So if you believe that your current revenue is kind of low, or your current data, your operational data is kind of low, that's fine too. That's when you actually get into a position where you actually ask an expert to prepare forecasted financial data for you. Sales projections, balance sheet projections, income statement projections, cash flow projections, anything and everything that will help you paint a good picture, a good but honest picture of the business. Let me talk to you about the 4th thing you need to do if you want to get that paper. If you want to get that loan, you need to actually understand the trends in the industry. You need to explain why trends in your industry are positive. So you have to understand, if you're looking for an emergency business loan and you want same-day funding, you have to convince the lender that he or she is investing in a good industry. The industry has rosier scenarios, has rosier trends. Okay, you can't be in an industry that is declining day in and day out and ask a lender to back you up. That would be foolish. Okay, even if I were the lender giving you the money, I wouldn't be giving the money in the first place. Okay, so the whole thing here is that you have to keep track of industry influencers and publications. That's the only way you know what's really going on in the industry. Okay, I mean, you have to have a clear idea of the game you're playing. You have to have a clear idea of the industry you're in. Okay, and it's important, and you have a constellation of tools to know exactly what's going on in your industry. For example, okay, you can read if you love reading newspaper articles. You have financial articles, Wall Street Journal, Barron's, Bloomberg's, all that kind of things to sort of have a clear idea of what's going on at the macro level. But if you want to have a clear idea of what's happening at the micro level, you can read local newspapers, okay? And you can actually go online, whatever. You can do a Google search, whatever. So the whole thing here is you need to know what's happening in your industry. And you have to communicate. You have to communicate that. If things are rosy, that's kind of cool. But if things are not rosy, you still have to be able to actually communicate that to the lender in a way that is favorable to you, okay? And you can also make the most of digital tools and analytics to evaluate industry behavior. Listen to your customers also. Oh yeah, because your customer will tell you if the industry is chilling or really lethargic right now. And you don't want to be in a position where the industry is lethargic, but you're not able to actually convey that quote unquote lethargy to the lender in a positive manner. What I'm trying to say here is you have to articulate why they need to give you that business loan. Okay, you can also observe your rivals, your competitors. So competitor observation is very important also to know how the other players are handling the issue. In other words, are you the only one having to find emergency business loans, or everybody else in the industry is just looking for loans? This is really important. I want to talk to you about the next important element, which is kind of related to what I said earlier about your financials, and is also related to what I said about your repayment strategy. That's liquidity. Liquidity. You need to create a projected cash flow statements that shows your business will have the money to repay the lender and all other debts. Let me repeat that. This is so important. I'm going to repeat it. You need to create a projected cash flow statement that shows your business will have the money to repay the lender and all other debts. So we're not just talking about the existing money, the existing loan. We are also talking about all the other debts that you have at the business level, but also at the personal level. This is in case you don't actually apply for this loan using EIN only. In other words, you are mixing your personal affairs and your business's affairs, which you should never do anyway. Never. Oh, never. No way, Jose. No way, Jose. This is something that you reflexively, you constantly want to segregate your personal affairs from your business's affairs. Is really important. Okay, so the way you do this, you have to create a projected cash flow statement. Again, you don't have to do it yourself. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, you want to enlist the help of somebody who does. Okay, so a cash flow statement basically is an accounting report that talks about the cash position of your business. Obviously, if you're looking for an emergency business loan, chances are you are in dire strait anyway. You are not doing good. Your business is not doing good. So you have to prepare actually a projected cash flow statement that shows a little bit of rosiness, a little bit of positivity. Okay. When we talk about a cash flow statement, we are speaking about three elements. So you have the operating cash flow. That's the first part of the report. Okay. Then you have the investing cash flows. So basically it has investing cash inflows and investing cash outflows. And then the third element is your financing cash flow. This is where you have your financing cash outflows and cash inflows. Anything that helps finance the company, we have to go to financing cash flows. Loans, for example, lines of credits. your personal equity into the business is also financing cash flows. Okay. If you buy some equipment or machinery, that'll be part of investing cash flows. Okay. So, but the bottom line is you need to show positive projected cash flow. And so when you add cash flows from operating activities, cash flows from investing activities, and cash flows from financing activities, you get the cash balance at year end or cash balance at period end. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere.
Finest, yo, Miss Tequila, and call me señorita. Ay, papi, got me dreaming. My legs up on the ceiling. Oh, yeah. I know when he come, he ain't never gonna leave. No. Hit it the night run, and that's the way I wanna be. So don't think.
Welcome back, folks, to another section of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. We are still having a conversation today. I'm just sharing a few things with you. I'm dropping a lot of gems today, and I want to talk to you about how to actually get a massive emergency business loan with same-day funding and low documentation. Okay. One thing you need to really pay attention to is your legitimacy. In other words, because I'm talking to you, do you have a legit business? Because the thing is, a lot of folks are CEOs. They are artificial CEOs. They are fictitious CEOs. Everybody's a CEO. And anyway, these days, oh, you know what? I have my own business. Okay, you have your business. Are you legit? Is your business legit? That's the conversation. That's the question I want you to answer me. Don't you walk around and just go like ignore me. No, I'm talking to you. Is your business legit? In other words, do you have an EIN? Do you have an employer identification number? Do you have the proper legal structure? Legal structure is really important. Are you an LLC, LLP, C Corp, S Corp? You tell me. Okay. Do you have a certificate of good standing in like an updated certificate of good standing? In other words, the authorities at the state level have looked at your business and said, you know what? This person is kind of cool. They are compliant. Do you have that? Do you have articles of incorporation or organization? Talk to me about that. Oh yeah. See, I'm dropping a lot of gems that you never thought about. See, those are important things because before you get the loan, the emergency business loan, the lender wants to make sure that you are a legit business, that you have a business checking account. What's up with that? You know, the funny thing is a lot of folks, they have a business, they have quote unquote businesses, but they have no business accounts. Come on, man. Come on. No, you can't unless you have a sole proprietorship. And even if you had a sole proprietorship, I would advise you, based on our research, again, going back to what I said earlier, you want to segregate your business's affairs from your personal affairs, which means you need to have a business checking account. You need to have a business name, address, phone number, all that kind of stuff. You need to have licenses and permits. This is the fulcrum. This is the foundation of a legit business, boss. I'm calling you boss, even though you don't have a legit business right now, but I'm just hoping that sooner or later you will actually update everything and make sure that you are compliant. Big decision time, boss. Big decision time. What are you going to do about your business? If you don't have a legit business, do you have a plan? Do you have a roadmap to making sure you are compliant? You are coming back to the right side of things? Talk to me about that. The last thing I want you to have, boss, if you are trying to have a massive emergency business loan with no documentation and you want to have same-day funding, I want you to have right now. See, the thing is, emergencies have this sort of crazy thing that they don't warn you. You know, nobody just walks around and is like, oh, you know, I have an emergency business. I have an emergency today. I'm going to get a business loan. It doesn't happen. Emergencies, by definition, are unpredictable, right? So I want you to do right now, when things are cool, I want you to prepare a business plan. You want to create a business plan that reflects on your business vision and future growth scenarios. Oh yeah. You're probably thinking I'm just speaking like a foreign language. No, I'm talking to you. See, when you going back to what I said earlier, how are you going to repay the loan? You know, if I give you 25 grand, 100 grand, do you have a plan? Do you have a scenario? Do you have a business model that could be monetized? That's why you need to have a business plan. And again, I'm not asking you to prepare the plan yourself. You know, Everybody has different talents. If you have a different talent, you can't write. If you cannot write a business plan, that's fine. You want to outsource the whole thing, okay? But in the business plan, you want to talk to the lender about your ability to sustain your business. You can use the business plan to raise money for your business to get a loan, but also to make sound decisions. See, you don't have to write a business plan only for an emergency business loan with same-day funding and low documentation. No. You want to have it ready so that if something happens, you can identify potential weaknesses in the business in the first place. Okay? You want to communicate your ideas with stakeholders. You want to have a clear idea of what's really happening in the industry. You want to have a clear idea of the trends, the major trends at the macro level in the industry. See, this is the kind of stuff that you have to understand so that you can be chilling. You can be making money day in and day out. See, industry goes down. Okay, I'm still making money. Industry goes up. I'm still chilling because I have understood the industry I'm in. And that's what a business plan helps you do. Okay. And again, a business plan, you don't have to write. I said this before. You don't have to write this yourself. Though you even have a business plan software. For example, you have Enloop, you have Life Plan, you have Base Plan. They help you actually. You can and you don't have to have any prior knowledge of business to write a business plan with software though. But to write it yourself, if you don't have the right skills, it's better that you outsource the whole thing. And again, and I've said this before, it's not that expensive. Okay. $200, $300. You're looking for a massive emergency loan for $25K or $50,000. You want to have a business plan that is legit, that is potent, that is compelling. Okay, so pay someone to do it for you. Thank you so much for your attention. I was actually talking to you today about an emergency business loan with same-day funding and low documentation. Okay, I gave you a few steps that you need to follow to get the loan that you need and deserve. First, explain the loan amount. Talk about the repayment. Prepare financials. Know the trends in your industry. Okay, have a clear idea of liquidity in your business. Have a legit business and prepare a compelling, a captivating business plan. Thank you so much for your attention. God bless you. I'll see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.